Okay, so we're going to pick up talking about memory types still. And again, remember, types of memory are the kinds of information we make memory from. And in the last video, we talked about episodic memory, and hopefully you also watched the video from Scientific American Frontiers called True or False. So let's talk about semantic memory. This type of memory is for general knowledge. It is academic memory, like understanding what classical conditioning is, would be an example of semantic memory. It is personal information, knowing your cell phone number or knowing your student ID number would be examples of personal information. And this is just trivia, right? So if any of you have ever been to a restaurant or a bar where they had trivia on a night of the week, that is completely relying on semantic memory. So little bits of information, little bits of knowledge. Unlike episodic memory, we do not have problems with distortion here. And you guys know when you're taking tests, right, that it's not often that you distort the memory, it's often that you just forget, right? You're staring at the test, it's asking you for a piece of semantic memory, like what is, what is an unconditioned stimulus? And you can't remember. And it may not be that it's lost forever. We'll talk about this, but at the moment you can't remember. And so that is, kind of the problems we sometimes have with semantic memory. Procedural memory is the longest lasting of all of the memory types. Procedural memory is about procedures, right? It says in the title, but the easier way to thinking about this is that this is how-to memory or memory for tasks. Very, very long lasting, not open to distortion, not open to forgetting. Once we know how to do something, we may lose confidence in whether we remember, but if we start doing it, we will remember. And so the phrase, it's just like riding a bike, is actually a reference to how good and how long-lasting procedural memory is. So many of you maybe haven't ridden a bike. If you learned how to ride a two-wheeler, you haven't maybe done that in years. But if I put you on a bike, you might feel shaky, you might feel unsteady, but in fact, I would not have to run after you yelling pedal, pedal, pedal. Right? When we try to teach people how to do things that we know through procedural memory, we struggle to teach them. And so we struggle to teach children how to tie their shoes. Most of us just tie our shoes. It's a procedural memory. We have no idea really how we do it. It often feels like muscle memory. But of course, as we've talked about, memory is not in muscles. Memory is only in the brain. It's just that your brain is giving automatic, unconscious uh, information to your muscles or memory to your muscles. And when you ride a bike, right, when we teach children how to ride bikes, we do useless things like run after them and yell pedal faster, when really it's not about how fast we pedal. But once we know how to ride a bike, we can actually pedal quite slowly if we want to. It's just that we've learned how to hold our body in balance on the bike. And we really don't know how to tell children how to do that. We need them to kind of figure it out for themselves because our procedural memory is hard for us to put into words. So let me back up. I don't want to go there quite yet. And so, so one of the other things to think about in your textbook, I'm sure that referred to semantic and procedural, semantic and episodic memory as declarative memory. We will also talk about the difference between implicit and explicit memory as we move through this chapter, but just real briefly now. Explicit memory is memory that you're aware of making and you're aware of retrieving. And so that would be all of our episodic memory and some of our semantic memory. So if you know you're studying for a test, you're using explicit memory. And then implicit memory is memory that we use without conscious awareness. So procedural memory, as I just explained, right? We often don't have conscious awareness of how we're walking or how we're riding a bike or how we're whipping eggs. We just do it. And so it's implicit. And some semantic memory is also implicit. So the fact that I know my name, right? I don't think of that as memory. I just know my name. And that is more implicit. Okay, so this is a short video. We're going to stop here and we'll pick up with memory processes in the next class.